We're live. It is the Beck Scrum. Sam and Puneet and Michael are here. Michael and I have spent the afternoon working on another portion of the Karma where we were attempting to write a simple spec, which took much longer than expected and exposed various oddities, quite frustratingly. Michael, anything to add on that?
No.
Puneet, how are things with you?
Okay, so far, not much to update. So regarding this karma thing, so once it's enabled, it will add karma for future meetings, right? Not the past meetings.
Yeah, past meetings as well.
Oh, how are you gonna track that? Which person attended the? Oh, I guess they are stored in the database.
Yep.
Okay.
So
yeah, go on, Michael.
Queues for that still running?
They're still running. There is one failure, but I haven't looked at what it is yet.
We don't know whether it's the.
We'll see what that is in a minute. Yeah, Puneet, anything to report on from your side?
Nope.
All right. Okay. Well, we might. I mean, I'm getting a couple of errors here. Yeah. I mean, there may well be parts of our tests which are also linked to this issue. Yeah, I mean, it's so in some ways, what we've discovered here, looking at the factory, is this events instance is factory. Well, I'm not sure that there's two issues. One was that the way it seemed to create them, it used arrays instead of hashes. And another one was whether it was using symbol versus strings. But we now seem to have come across code that seems like it was working in production, that was working with the symbols.
Well, we think it's
Go on, Michael.
We think it's because it's from the serialization.
Right, and that maybe the serialization thing gives us the flexibility to, use symbols or strings. I guess we could answer that question pretty simply if we did we could look at the Hangout and I can see whether I can do. But so I would have, and there may be even some flex anyway. But so, the other thing is we still seem to have some very odd interactions with this after validation hook on the Karma calculator.
Yeah, with the tests at least.
Yes, that we don't understand. But so here we can do event instance fast instance. And so we could ask if, I mean, presumably that will allow me to put out a 0 there. That won't work. Can I have a symbol? At least not like that. Aha, yes. So that looks like that the serialization has got the flexibility to respond with either symbols or like it basically creates something and you can look them up in terms of symbols or in strings.
Okay. Yeah. It's called indifferent access.
Right.
So what are the queues that are failing?
So we've got something, we've got like edit past event feature. We've got something about seeing someone's avatar. And then in fact, I think I changed. Right, we've got our one that we were working on here. So this was our key thing. I was just trying to change this. Okay, so I mentioned to you much earlier about how I thought we found, I flushed out a problem in the view, and I think by change, if I'm lucky, Hangouts attended, expected to find that in 1, 0, yes. So there is a minor problem in the view, and this is for users, profile, detail, where that one wasn't updated. So in principle, that would now pass. We've got a Hangout feature there, 139. Features, Hangouts, Hangout feature. Right, so that's now passing. Hangout feature 122. So this is a scenario that displays the live sessions, and the problem is that it's expecting to find a particular user. So we've got this expect that the following Hangouts exist. Right. So now, interestingly here, this involves constructing things involving this.
Involving this array thing again.
Yeah. Which I would have, I guess we've now changed the functionality of the presenter so that it's expecting these to be strings. And again, if we're constructing them on the fly, not using the serialization operation, then
I think there's like some way to say, oh,
yeah,
I think you can access them with indifferent access.
yeah, you were saying, yeah, maybe there's a way to declare that you want your hash to be in different access. That needs another little.
It's an active support thing.
Okay.
Send you the link.
Thanks. So that test is passing, and then we have a separate one here for edit past. Thanks. Edit past event feature. It's an events. Edit past event feature. Line 12. Trying to select. Repeat.
Yeah, so basically everywhere that you can do the hash literal, like you would normally do, but tack on the end dot with indifferent access. And then, like, so when you're setting them up in the specs or whatever, it will act indifferently though.
Oh, you put in Slack.
If you scroll down towards the bottom, it notes that
like this
defines hash with indifferent access. Yes.
Yeah. Well, we might use that to try and fix this next one. Although this one here, this is encountering a nil element on the form. So that's, sure. App views events form line 29. That makes no sense at all. Let's run it individually. Maybe that was a type. That's that seems to be trying to look up a time on the next event occurrence with time. Item 12. I wouldn't have thought that was related to yeah, and that's now passing. So that may have been, well, it may have been incidentally relying on some other step that I've fixed. We can run that again in batch. I guess in the meantime, here I will get this and I will oh, that may have been the that was for Hughes. Okay. Oh, yeah, Puneet, were you able to, were my blogs useful for catching up with things?
Not actually. I didn't read the blogs yet. Actually.
Oh, not to worry. Indeed. Well, the thing that I think we're up on the end of our Scrum. End of my days.
Passing it.
They have passed individually with my fixes, and I'm running them in bash. I've also pushed it up to the branch. So if you want to pull it down and run it on your side,
okay.
That's
so in terms of like delivering this feature. Where are we?
Yes, where are we in terms of delivering this feature? Well, I think we could summarize that possibly by looking at the ticket, which I've lost because I had to reboot my computer.
Maybe we would just rewrite the tests.
I think there's room to refactor the tests. I think that
test drive it more, or is that not really?
So did you say investigate more? What was the?
You were saying to test drive it more would be like a
yeah, I mean that's a possibility.
Saner way of doing it.
Yeah, I mean I think we've got the issue of at the moment that
as Armando said, working code is, thing is that it's working.
Well, that's what Thomas was saying. But I think the after validation hook is causing strangeness, which makes us think about removing it. If we do, we need a separate task for generating karma. That may or may not assume saving. I mean, I think that what we've got now is we've got kind of like in the karma calculator, a method that will insert that into the table. There's this other set of things to be done as well.
Like remove all the other stuff from the user table, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's remove one element from the user table, make sure that, yeah. I mean, we could do it piece by piece. Like, so for example, like the karma table in the first instance could have only this one, element that we think it's heavy to reproduce, and the other elements could be continued to be calculated on the fly.
Which is what we're doing right now, but yeah.
Yeah, that's where we are. So that would, I mean, given that was the case, we could
actually deliver it soon.
We could deliver. We could, if it's this thing. If we are removing the after validation hook, then we need a separate task for running the karma calculator. And then it could be the pushed out like that, and we would see how it would work.
Wait, do we actually need a separate task? I mean, aren't you already?
Well, the current task is simply saving the user and things, and it's doing like for the purpose of geocoding. So it's the we're getting the side effect from the geocoding task. If we remove the after validation hook, that task will no longer do that. Sensibly, we would set up the separate, at least so that they can be switched on or off independently, or what have you. So that's a possibility. I mean, the interesting thing that's happening here is that we're kind of evolving the domain model, in that what we had previously was we had a user and we had this service that was a karma calculator that did this collection of things, but all of the little intermediate calculations were not stored and saved. And
correct.
Much as I love to
have it that way.
And we've just done one where we do some persistence on the thing there. Although again, like I think it's a little bit, it's doing that, it's setting it and then leaving it up to the collaborator to save it. But it seems to me that if we have a karma model, much as I like services, it seems like this stuff would better be, it would make more sense for it to be in the karma model and to be tested independently from the user. Do you know what I mean? Like part of the confusion with all this is that we're testing the karma calculator, and it's not a unit test because we're relying upon the behaviors of the user and the event instance and this other stuff.
Like an integration test.
Right, so it's an integration test, and then that's always the danger with integration. If you don't have the unit test and you're working against the integration test, there's more moving pieces. So,
but there are people that do that as test driven.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, and I mean, starting with the acceptance test. I mean, but it's about, I guess, and I like coming in from the top as we did for the acceptance test, and we got to the integration test. I guess there's an extent to which, if we start to encounter heavy weather at any level, that's a sign to be dropping down to the lower level. And there's also an extent to which testing pain is an indication that our design is not great.
Yeah.
And that it's not factored properly. So, yeah, I mean, I guess the drive-by would say, well, push these all off into other tickets. Like, do this minimal thing to close this ticket out, and then look at these things separately.
Yeah. It's probably what we'll do.
Yeah, I think that's probably the sensible thing to do. I mean, if you wanted to, I don't know if you can do more coding today, if you wanted to make this task and slap that in there, you could open a pull request and we could leave the pull or we'll do it tomorrow together or what have you. And of course, with the drive-by, there's nothing that stops us from going on and working on the next ticket that says refactor it this way or that way. But at least we get a save point, and we say, right, that we put that PR in for consideration and for feedback from Raul, and it could be deployed. But we then free ourselves to say, oh, okay, do we have the emotional energy to dive down into do more karma testing, or do we want to review the relative priorities of these things? We've kind of done that one. How does the priority of those fare against other things that we're looking at in the ready column or that
So
we're thinking about.
you're running a are we
Yeah.
we're testing these tasks too?
To be honest, I think no. We have tasks. Do we have specs? We do have DevOps acceptance tests to run tasks.
Okay.
So, well, part of my thinking there is to kind of try and have documentation about what are the tasks that are going on across local support and so on. Anyway, I think the tests, the Qs are passing for me, apart from one of our
So
usual
would we
suspects.
want to actually test that task?
Well, I think if we create a new task, it's probably sensible to throw in a little acceptance test for it.
Okay.
But I'm going to go and do karate now. So,
All right.
yeah. So potentially tomorrow, Peter starts a meeting later on. We're doing our async voting. We might actually get some coding done tomorrow.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. I'll see you then. And anything else from your corner, Puneet?
Nope.
All right. Maybe see you tomorrow.
Sure.
Bye for now.
Bye.